Last time on Venom, featured right here at Comicstorian. Eddie Brock battled against the dragon symbiote known as Grendel, which works for the god of the symbiotes known as Null. Once he defeated it, Venom was actually injured, so Eddie ended up teaming up with Maker, unwillingly, to figure out a way to save Venom. And what Maker discovered is that Venom actually faked Eddie's cancer, forcing Eddie to rely on the Venom symbiote all of these years. They had a bit of a divide, but they've now been brought back together because Null's dragon symbiote, Grendel, has revived Carnage and is going around trying to kill anyone who has ever worn the symbiote so that it can take the codex out of those individual spines and become the ultimate Carnage. As Eddie and Spider-Man have gone off to battle against Carnage in the Absolute Carnage series, Eddie has left his son, Dylan, with Maker. Maker is an alternate reality version of Reed Richards, which is inherently evil. You have stumbled across the Comicstorian channel, where we take your favorite pop culture universe and bring you the storylines within the video games, the comic books, or the movies, and we tell it back to you as an audio drama, allowing you to keep up while you get on with your busy day. And today, we are covering Venom's Absolute Carnage tie-ins, issue 17 and 18. His name is Eddie Brock. Their name is Venom, and this is the day they die. Carnage is back, powered up by Null's dragon symbiote, the Grendel. And right now, Carnage is hunting down everyone who has ever worn a symbiote. Spider-Man and Eddie went to Ravencroft to save Norman Osborn, but between the both of them, they're fading fast. Eddie can feel it. Cletus is down the hallway, crawling around in his head, laughing as the bones break. They won't make it out of this one, and it's his fault. Carnage is an evil that he created, and now all he can think about are the regrets. About his father, about Anne, about how Dylan will never know who his father is. And maybe that's for the best, but he does wish that he could have told Dylan that he loved him. Meanwhile, at Rex's warehouse, Dylan sits on a box stating that he's not home. Maker continues putting together his machine, asking, "Who?" And Dylan tells him, "Eddie. You remember, my brother?" Maker looks at Dylan for a moment, then goes back to work, stating, "Yes, I'm sure Eddie will be fine." Normie Osborn walks off eating chips, asking what's wrong with him, and Dylan says that he has no clue what's wrong with the Maker. Maker then takes off his helmet, showing his misshapen head, stating, "Ha! The machine is all done and ready to." The two kids stare, asking what happened to his brain, and the Maker puts the helmet back on, sighing, telling them, yes, my cranial augmentations must seem frightening to young eyes. This is, well, it doesn't have a name yet. But essentially, it performs a symbiote codex isolation and thermoheated extraction process. In short, it removes the codex attached to the victim's DNA without killing them. The codex is then destroyed using a, Dylan shouts, SCITHE. That's the name of it because it's the symbiote codex ISO. But Maker stops him, telling him acronyms are for children in comic books. Machines don't have names. Either way, it is time. You, Osborn child, you're first. Dylan jumps in front of Normie, yelling, "No way!" Eddie and Spider-Man said that they didn't want Normie going into the machine until they tested it first. So Maker sighs. And what if they don't return? What if Cletus Cassidy is on his way here right now, hunting for anyone with a codex wrapped around their spine? I would not want the life of an innocent child weighing on my soul. Now shall we? Dylan shouts, "No! You're a creep, and the answer is no! You want Normie? You're gonna have to go through me." So Maker stretches out, telling them, I am not accustomed to being threatened by anyone, especially one that I am so desperately trying to save. Now stand aside or... Dylan places his hand on his waist. Or what? You have to explain to Spider-Man and Venom how you hurt two little kids to do a science experiment? How do you see that going? Maker scowls. You really are just like you are. But before he could finish, there's a loud bwamp. Maker looks back, asking, what could have gotten past the proximity alarms? Just then, the Life Foundation symbiotes, Phage, Riot, Lasher, Agony, burst in and Maker sighs, telling the boys, get behind me. I've heard little about these ones. Phage then asks, do you really think you could protect them? You don't know us. We will happily rip your heart out. Maker scoffs, and you don't know me. Well, you're about to. As Maker begins to press a button on the computer, it asks to input a command, and Maker smiles. Kill all symbiotes. Several turrets drop out of the ceiling and they begin to fire, and while the symbiotes try to protect themselves, Maker tells the boys to get to the armory and lock the door. Dylan and Normie run to the back, with Normie asking what happens now. Won't we be trapped back here? What do we do if the symbiotes get in? Dylan looks around at all the weapons spread across the room, stating, if the symbiotes get in, we fight. Back outside, Lasher whips a tendril, grabbing Maker, stating, that is enough! Carnage will kill us if we do not return with the child. We will not die today. As Lasher pulls himself in, Maker calmly says, I'm not so sure about that, while grabbing a sonic rifle. He tells the computer to set the gun to maximum payload, and when the computer confirms that it has been, Maker puts the rifle to Lasher's head and pulls the trigger. The symbiote is blasted to pieces, and from it, its host, the little girl Sadie, falls to the ground asking, What's going on? Where am I? Where's my family? Maker looks down. Well, that's interesting. Many people would view your age as a hindrance to this confrontation. I, however, am not one of them. Rifle set to live rounds. Before he could pull the trigger, the remaining symbiotes grab onto the Maker, giving Agony time to spit acid on the sonic rifle to destroy it. While holding Maker down, Riot tells Phage to get the child. Inside the armory, Dylan holds one of the guns, telling Normie, Stay down. If anything comes through the door, I'll handle it. Just then, there's a loud crack-a-coom coming from outside the door, and Phage begins to rip it off its hinges. Phage pulls apart the door, yelling, Hello, boys! Mind if I come in? As he gets closer, he sniffs the air, telling Dylan, You reek of the smell of your father! You reek of venom! I will kill you for fun. But the goblin boy, he dies for carnage. As Phage gets ready to lunge, a pair of hands appear around his head, and then they twist, snapping Phage's neck. His body slumps to the ground, and from behind him, a black and yellow symbiote appears. And he tells the boys, Do not be afraid. I am Sleeper. You can trust me. I have family. I am the seventh spawn of the one they call Venom. I have been gone for a long time, exploring the cosmos in search of answers. Answers I wish I did not know. While traveling, I felt something, pulling me, speaking to me, calling me, telling me that this planet was home, this planet of symbiotes. Then the Horde tried to claim me, to aid their fight. I did not understand it, but in its thrall I saw the truth, what this lie of a planet held at its core. I heard the sleeping prisoner's voice. I am coming, it said. I will be free. So I burned any connection away from secreting a powerful Badoon acid with my chemokinesis. It's a unique ability to produce chemicals from my form. After that, I raced back to Earth to find you. I am the son of Venom. Dylan stares for a moment, asking, Who are you, though? Like underneath. Sleeper tells him, My host was a Kree soldier named Telkar. Though, as you can see now, I am the one in control. Sleeper pulls back, revealing the skeletal remains of a Kree soldier, stating, Even though I am in control, we are much stronger when we aren't alone. Just then a sonic blast rips Sleeper to shreds, and Maker tells them, Rest easy. That should be the last of them. No need to thank me. I'll get this one with the others and dispose of them accordingly. As for this body, Dylan shouts, No! Sleeper is good! He's not like the... But Maker stops him. We don't name them, and we certainly do not trust them. Dylan looks at Sadie and the rest of her family in stasis chambers, asking, What are you going to do to those people? You're not going to... But Maker tells him, No, I'm not going to kill them. I'm going to extract their codexes. The symbiotes, though, those will be killed. After that, we can get your little friend into the machine and... But Dylan yells, No! I already said we're gonna wait until Spider-Man and Eddie come back! I do not require your permission. Now step aside. There are lives to be saved. As Maker activates the computer, Sadie's father is shocked and he screams in pain, shouting, Please, stop! It hurts! And Maker looks at them. They shouldn't be conscious at all. Well, that's interesting. Back in the armory, Normie says that he's scared. Please don't let the Maker put him into that machine. And Dylan tells him, I won't. We just have to get out of here. And to do that, we need to do something stupid. A few moments later, as Maker is continuing the extraction process, Dylan calls out to him and Maker sighs. What is it now, boy? Dylan, holding a gun and several grenades, says that they're going to be leaving and there's nothing he can do about it. Maker laughs. And why is that? Because you're going to what? Kill me? Dylan smiles, telling him, No, because you're going to be a little busy. Dylan starts shooting, but as the bullet passes through the Maker, they begin to hit the canisters that contain the Life Foundation symbiotes. The boys begin to turn and run, and as Maker tells the computer to activate evasive defenses, the symbiotes grab him by the head and slam him into the console. Normie asks what's going on, and Dylan looks back, stating, I'm not sure. The symbiotes are all coming together. They're joining into one massive hybrid. Hybrid screams, and Dylan yells to Normie to run. As the two get outside, Hybrid comes bursting through the walls, clawing his way towards Normie. Normie tells Dylan to go ahead. They only want him. He can distract. But before he could finish, Normie is grabbed, and Hybrid says, This one has something we need. The Goblin Kid is in the way. Hybrid throws Normie to the side, and Dylan asks, What? What do you want with him? And Hybrid asks, You have no idea, do you? Together we can sense. And Maker knows. And now we know. Hybrid reaches out with Dylan screaming for them to get away. But there's something else within him giving off power. And Hybrid then says, "There it is. Now!" But before he could finish, a giant rock fist punches Hybrid in the face, followed by a red, white, and blue blur. The power fades within Dylan, and Captain America asks, "Do you mind if we cut in?" And with him is Spider-Man, Thing, and Wolverine. And that concludes Venom 17 and 18 as a part of the Absolute Carnage tie-in series. Now, this one continues to leave you on a cliffhanger, so if you want to know more of what's going on with Venom, Carnage, and all this other stuff, we have an entire playlist that includes all of the Absolute Carnage main issues and tie-ins like this one right here. The storyline is going to keep going, as this book is apparently going to be more about what's going on with Dylan until Venom finishes up in Absolute Carnage and comes back over to his main book. So basically, we're going to find out what this hidden power inside of Dylan is. At the time of this video being recorded, the follow-up issue hasn't come out. So let me know, what do you think that the power within Dylan is? If you watched our main video, there's some interesting stuff going on about that, and this one actually confirms quite a bit of it. Don't forget, if you want to get more of Venom, more of Absolute Carnage, more of this crazy event going on in Marvel Comics right now, subscribe to the Comic Historian channel. We'd appreciate you hanging out, just being a part of our community here, talking comic books. And if you want to get early access to our videos, join us on the YouTube memberships program and join us over at our Patreon. For the $2 tier, you get early access to all of our videos. Either way, thank you for your continued support right here at the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I'll see you next time right here at Comic Historian.